Hello and welcome to this hands-on session in Tableau. In today's session, we'll learn how to design and use parameters. Parameters is a very important concept in Tableau. This makes Tableau charts much more dynamic, thereby increasing the usability or utility of charts. When I say dynamic, what exactly do we mean by dynamic in case of Tableau? So let's say a user passes on some value to the chart, and based on that value, if the entire look of the chart changes, this is what I mean by a chart being dynamic. Now, this also means that that chart of Tableau is being more interactive. So a user is able to talk to the chart literally, because as and when a user passes an input to the chart, accordingly, chart throws a different output for a user to consume. And thereby, parameters make Tableau charts much more dynamic. Now, in today's session, we'll learn how to do this using a case study. Before we go there, let's quickly look at the basic steps which are important to use the parameters. Now, the first step in the process is to create the parameter itself. Once this parameter is created, it's important that we show the parameter somewhere on the screen. Once we are done with the parameter creation and showing of that parameter, the third step talks about creating a calculated field using this parameter. And the final step involves applying this calculated field anywhere on this chart. Basically, what this fourth point means is integrating this calculated field and parameters somewhere on the chart. So these are the basic steps which generally are used in creating and using any parameter on the Tableau charts. Nevertheless, there might be few instances where we can tweak or we can skip or we can combine one or two steps, one or two of these four steps. We'll exactly see how to do that in today's hands-on session. So let's move to a full-fledged case study in order to better understand our parameters. So this is a case study where I've already made few charts. I've already prepared few worksheets along with a dashboard. So this case study is on a superstore data, a very well-known data. And on top of this, what I have done is I have prepared these four sheets. The first one talks about the customers across my entire sales. So how my customers are performing vis-a-vis sales has been enumerated in this chart. And this has been done in decreasing order of the sales. The second chart talks about the sales mix on subcategories. Now, again, something very similar to the first chart on customers, but this time it's on subcategories. So what it means is that phones as a subcategory is contributing to the maximum sales, followed by chairs, followed by storage, followed by tables, followed by binders, then machines, and so on and so forth. The third chart talks about the trend on a timeline. So basically, every line in this chart corresponds to 1 year. From 2017 to 2020, I have 4 years. And every line gives a trend over an year on sales. So this is a sales trend chart, basically. And the fourth one is around a geo analytics kind of a chart where I have again I have again shown the sales, but this time it's across the states of America. So darker the color, more the sales, as is being shown by the legend. And in this chart, it's very visible that California has maximum sale contribution. Now, finally, what I have done is I have collated all these 4 charts in a dashboard. So you get to see all these 4 charts collectively at one place in a dashboard. So it's much easier for any management to take a much crisper decision based on just one snapshot. All right, now based on this, we'll quickly understand how to make use of parameters. So my basic use of parameters, as we discussed earlier, is to make these entire chart talk to us, make it more and more dynamic. Right now, what you see on the screen is a static display of the data information. Whereas what I want to do is I want this chart to behave as a user wants it to happen. So if I, for instance, if I just want to see top 10 customers based on the sales, I should be able to give some kind of an input over here. There should be an option for me as a user that I just punch in 10 and I hit an enter key, and only top 10 customers should come up rather than the whole list of customers what I see right now. And then probably after that, if I realize that no, instead of 10, probably I want to see top 5 customers. Then again, I should be able to enter 5, hit enter, and just get top 5 instead of top 10, which I was seeing. So this is what I mean when I say dynamic nature of the charts or interactive charts. And this is very much possible with the help of parameters. So let's now see how we can do that. So as we had discussed earlier, 4 steps. First step is creating a parameter. Now there are multiple ways to create a parameter. One way could be that I just right click anywhere on this area and I get a dialog box open on which I can create a parameter. Now another way could be I just click on this small drop down, and again I see the same dialog box. I can create a parameter from here as well. So let's use this one, and then later on I'll show you another way to create a parameter. Now this dialog box opens, which first of all asks me to name the parameter. Let's give it a very appropriate name. So what we're trying to do here is make a selection feature possible for a user where he can see some top n numbers. So let's name it as probably top underscore n and maybe customers, top n customers. And I'll leave rest of the values as it is, and I'll hit OK. And the moment I do this, you can see a parameter has been created in the bottom left of my screen. Now the second step says that I need to show this parameter. So I'll do that. I'll show the parameter. And after I do this, I'm able to see this parameter with a place to enter any number I want to. Wow, so is it done? Can I now enter any number I want to, and I'll see that those many number of customers? Let's try. So I hit 10 and hit enter. Oh, nothing happens. Why is that? It's precisely because we have not linked our parameter to the chart. So for now, what is happening is my parameter and my chart have been created in silo. Parameter is a separate entity, chart is a separate entity. So what I need to do next is create some kind of a connection between these two separate entities. And I'll do this using my step 3 and 4, which said create a calculated field and apply that calculated field anywhere on the chart. So what I'll do in this case is, there's no specific calculation per se which has to be done. It's just a matter of selecting based on sales. So there's no calculation per se. So what I'll do is I'll combine step 3 and 4 together, and I'll just, with those 3 and 4 steps together, I would integrate these two entities of chart and this parameter together. So let's see how to do this. So in order to do that, what I'll do is I'll catch hold of another instance of customer name. One instance I already have in rows. Another instance, I'll just put it in filters. Now, in this, the moment I enter customer name in filters, I get this dialog box where I have 4 tabs to choose from: general, wildcard, conditions. So I'm not giving any conditions. I'm just playing around with top customers. That's all I have to do for now. Now I'll make use of this tab, which says top. In this, I'll select by field, and there are multiple options. So I can either do top selection or I can do bottom selection. For now, I'll keep it to top, and I'm selecting top performers by any of these dimension on measures. So I have selected sales and I've selected sum of sales. Okay. Now only this option is left to be explored. And what this option says is, how many top selections do you want? By default, I have an entry of 10. But if I just enter 10 over here and hit OK, this would be a very static kind of a selection. I won't leave that option with the end user, which I want to do. So what I need to do is I need to create a new parameter over here. So this is third way how I can create a new parameter. Since we have already created a new parameter, I'll make use of that. And my parameter was top end customer. So I'll select this and I'll say OK. Now, the moment I do this, what is happening is step number 3 and 4. I did a quick calculated field calculation, which is nothing but selecting top customers or top few entries by sum of sales. That is the calculation I have selected, which is a ready-made calculation available with Tableau. And then when I entered my parameter name over there, the moment I entered my parameter name over here, top end customers, that is what my 4th step was. And with that, I integrate the two things together. I integrate these two entities of chart and parameter together. Now, if I enter 10, it would show 10 customers. If I enter 5, it would show top 5 customers. Good. So we have achieved the first thing, where I just wanted to do a quick selection or a quick filtering based on a user's input. Now, going ahead, we'll do another good use of, we'll see another good use of parameters, which is some kind of a, again, some kind of a, I would say, selection, again, some kind of a selection feature, which parameter can do for us. The only difference is here we have done a simple filtering. And in this second thing, which I'm about to show you in a minute, is something where I would do a selection of these measures, okay, rather than the entries which I have done. So here I have just selected or filtered few entries based on the user input. Another selection or filtering could be based on these measures. So for instance, right now I get to see the sales, or I get to select the customers based on the sales. What if my fourth customer, Tom, although he's fourth in number of sales, but probably he's not giving me a lot of profit making. He's taking a lot of stuff from me in some discounts. So another input which a user could give be based on measure. So to explicitly understand that, let's jump to my sheet number 2, which is on subcategory. A very similar sheet, just on a very similar analysis, just on subcategories rather than customers. So here, for instance, let's say I have these sales figure based on phones, chairs, based on all the subcategories. And let me just pull in profit and remove sales for a while. Now you see phone, chair, storage, till here it is fine. But if you look at tables, although it was ranking fourth in terms of sales, but when it came to profit, it's not at all making profits. It's making a loss for me, isn't it? So that is what I was exactly telling you, that although we have done a selection, so in this case, although if I just do a top selection on sales, I can select top n subcategories, something like that. But what if I want to see through user, I want to, at one instance, I want to see sales, this similar analysis based on sales. On the second instance, I want to see a similar analysis based on profit. And then certainly user thinks, no, he wants to see it on discount. So I need to give that power to the user to change any measure or dimension out of this entire list and see the analysis by himself. So he can kind of run the same analysis on different measures or dimensions. Let's see how we can do this. Let me pull this sales back, because there's some kind of a placeholder, some kind of a baseline thing we have prepared. And now let's use parameter to achieve what we want to. So as usual, the first step is creating a parameter. So let's create a parameter. And this time, probably I would name it something like toggle. Toggle on measures, because I want to see sales, quantity, profit. And I want to give this power to the end user. So let my end user toggle between these measures and see the same analysis as and when he wants to. And now this time what we'll do is we'll change few of these things. For instance, in data type, we'll just select string, because what would go as an input? Last time, in last parameter used, the input was any number, top 10 customers, top 5 customers, 7 customers. This time the input would be profit, quantity, sales. So I've changed the data type to string. And then let's define the list for Tableau. Let's say I want to see discount, or I want to toggle between profit or sales. So these are 3 items I want the user to toggle between, and I click and OK. The moment I do this, I see this parameter, which as per second step, I'll just show it. Now, as usual, these 2 things are not linked. My chart and my parameters are yet not linked. It's still 2 separate entities. I need to do that. So now let's jump to the third step, which says create a calculated field. let me do that. And I would name my calculated field as, okay, I'll give the entire name discount, so that it's pretty obvious for any future developer to come in and understand what I'm trying to say. Discount, no, sorry, it's quantity. It's profit and sales. Good. And now I'll do a quick entry of calculation. So here I'll write a quick formula, very simple one though, which would help Tableau to take decisions. And I would use case command. Case, I would say the name of the parameter which I created. Here I go. And now I would give three different options. So case parameter name, which means on the name of the parameter, whatever value it takes, the first value this parameter could take is quantity. Then, okay, so let me just kind of revise this. Quantity, then quantity. Then I have profit, then profit. And the third option the user has is of sales. So I'll give sales. All right. And at the last, I'll just introduce an end command. All right. So what this simple code says is that let Tableau, the moment, so the parameter toggle underscore measures has three different values. And whenever a user selects quantity, user basically means this measure as quantity. Whenever a user selects profit, user means to select the profit from the measure. And similarly, when he selects sales from this toggle button, user basically wants to put sales into action from the measures. All right, let's click OK. And now when I have done this, let's see if my integration has been done. Has it been done? Not yet. Why is it that it's not done? Because we have not yet gone to step number 4, which says apply this calculation anywhere. Although we have created a calculated field, but we are yet to apply this calculation on this chart. Now, how do we do that? So if you notice in this columns, I have still entered a static measure, which is sales. Whereas I want to, or I should rather, enter a dynamic field, which I just created. Now, let me just pull this in and let me just remove this, okay? So once I pull this in, this has three measures in itself: quantity, profit, and sales. Any of these three, I can select from parameters. So let's select profit, and there you go. So my entire analysis is done now. So what I have done is, instead of quantity, by mistake, I have written here discount, whereas in the calculated field, I gave quantity. So I need to quickly edit this. I would just quickly go there and edit this. I would say quantity. And yes, okay, done. And now let's see if all the three are working properly. Yes, they are. Good. So now what I have done is, with these two parameters, I have kind of made my entire analysis, or all my charts, or at least these two charts, more dynamic, and they respond to users' interaction or users' command, right? All right, looks pretty cool. Now with this, I kind of come to the end of this video. In the next video, what we'll do is we'll see how to get these changes done at a dashboard level. Although on the individual sheets, we have been able to do this interactive change, but how to do this at a dashboard level so that a user gets an option to toggle between different options over here, and he can easily change and look at different perspectives of the same data. All right, thanks for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed it. Let's continue and let's complete this entire episode of parameters in the next session. Thank you.